Great, thank you. Welcome. My name is David Mitchell, and I appreciate you taking some moments here. I'm going to spend a few minutes, 15 precious minutes, talking a little bit about how to quick start to a modern data center. Now, one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to make you cloud experts in 15 minutes, obviously. But I think you're going to get some good insight here on moving forward. Also, I have some great customer examples that are real-world examples that I think are very helpful in trying to determine what your cloud strategy might be. So, we've done a couple of surveys out there. Let me just a quick question. How many people here think there's disruption in their industry right now? I mean, from a business perspective, not just IT. We all know IT is disrupted all the time, right? So, but from a business perspective, what we've discovered in some of the surveys that we've done is that 48%, almost half the people, feel that there's going to be a disruption in their industry, and they don't know what that disruption will be within 3 years. The good news is that almost all of you are realizing that something has to be done to help transform your business in an IT perspective, in an IT way. One of the best ways for doing that, of course, is looking at the cloud. And we're all kind of here today, kind of investigating what a cloud strategy might be for our business. Some of you might actually have been sticking your toes in and actually moving forward in a cloud-based strategy. I'm going to talk a little bit about cloud and kind of clear some of the cloud fog, because right now there's a lot, especially confusion and challenges to moving quickly. And that's the key here. What we've discovered here, and some of the examples I'm going to show you, is not cloud strategies that take years or months, but cloud strategies that are implemented very, very quickly and very, very easily. So I'm going to try to cut through some of the confusion. So let's set some clarity, right? Public cloud issues, they're out there, right? Regulation, where does the data sit? Do I have access from my users? Do I have access from my customers? How quickly can I switch applications over so that I can be more competitive and help transform my business from a business perspective, right? Maybe the private cloud is the way to go. But there you've got some challenges as well. It provides a lot of the business benefits of a public cloud, but it has a whole slew of other things as far as challenges and technology that makes going forward a little bit of a challenge. Let's look at a little bit of these two right now. So you've done your research on private cloud. Personally, I think a private cloud is a great way to start. And the successful companies that we're seeing today are looking at private cloud in addition to a public cloud strategy. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the public cloud. Moving to a public cloud can be challenging, as I mentioned. But it doesn't mean private cloud is not a way to get to the public cloud. So some of the research, getting infrastructure together on a private cloud, quickly and easily. What is the infrastructure we're talking about? Well, you've got servers, you've got hardware, you've got storage, you've got networking, both hardware and software networking. And in addition to that, you've got multiple vendors. You've also got multiple lifecycle issues. You can get the software up and running, get it all configured correctly, but what happens next month or next year when there's a new BIOS or a new firmware that comes out? In some cases, the whole system gets thrown into chaos and you have to start all over again. We're trying to figure out how to fix that issue, right? Multiple points of vendor contact. When there is an issue, what do you do? Who do you call? Do you call the networking vendor? Do you call the integration company? Do you call the software company? What choices do you have in trying to move forward on this? I'm going to break through some of the myths on those issues. Let's eliminate some of the concerns, right? First of all, the first easy step to do is focus on a software that's a standard. All right, that's pretty easy. We're all here at VMware, VMworld. VMware is pretty much the standard in the industry. And this standard includes something that is kind of unique, because you've got your networking capability with NSX, you've got your storage capability with vSAN, and you've got your compute capability with vSphere, right? And now what they've done is they pulled all this together into a single entity or management interface, something called VMware Cloud Foundation. Has anybody here seen or heard about Cloud Foundation at all? A couple of you? If you're looking at a private cloud solution, you've got to look at Cloud Foundation. What they've done is they've taken those modules and they built it around an SDDC manager. So it basically allows you to manage that entire stack very, very easily. Now also, everything has to work together in concert. Of course, you know the software is going to work. You know, VMware is pulled together and it's supposed to work, right? But what about the hardware? So you've got your systems, your networking, hardware networking, software networking. You've got your racks. You've got your storage, your BIOS, firmware, all of that stuff. Now, it all has to be working together in concert and not just integrated, all right? Because there's a lot of definitions of integration floating around this hall. I've seen companies that integrate, and it takes them 3 years to integrate. I've seen other companies that can integrate in a matter of days or months. So that word integration, it's kind of a scary word, for me at least. I like to use the word engineered. Basically, it has to be like one computer. Just like you have a hard drive in your computer and you change that hard drive out with another hard drive, it doesn't mean you have to replace the hard drive controller, the video card, the motherboard, the memory, right? It's one system, it's one computer. So it's very, very important that when you're engineering a private cloud, that you take that into consideration. Because if you don't, you're going to be spending months, even years, trying to integrate and build this private cloud. Some people think that it is a myth, but I can tell you right now, there is some success. So I'm going to go over a couple of success criteria here. Elevon. Elevon is an interesting company. It's a financial services company. They're a subsidiary of US Bank Corp. They're a worldwide company, multiple data centers around the world. If you use a credit card today, you probably use their client transaction or their credit card transaction process. So they're very, very interested in actually compliance and regulation, managing that compliance. They're also very heavily on trying to figure out how to deploy quickly and easily a data center around the world, multiple data centers. And they don't have a huge army of IT specialists either, very small IT team. And of course, they had a tight time frame because their business is growing very, very quickly. They were able to pull together an engineered system very, very easily. They used microsegmentation to help simplify the PCI compliance. They also provided an automated IT service delivery using vRealize Suite. That allowed them to manage and deploy around the world globally multiple data centers. And they're all treated as one data center, easily managed, easily replicated. This was a 3-phase project. We're in the middle of phase 2 on this case, and it's continuing to grow. One of the other things they did that was kind of cool is they focused on hyper-converged solution, where the storage is integrated in with the system. That way they didn't have to worry about managing a separate separate SAN network. Made it very, very easy to manage. They were able to get this system up and running from loading dock to managing and deploying work groups in about 10 days. And it's scalable. Here's another example. Big healthcare company, Medtronic, multiple platform architectures. They were developing silos of technology that all had to be managed individually. They had 85,000 employees. They had an applications issue because they merged with another company, Covidien. And then they needed to consolidate Covidien's data center. And they had multiple challenges, multiple platforms, multiple architectures, being able to manage upgrade paths across these multiple silos, being able to provide access to this from a skill set perspective because they had very quick turnover. So what did they do? They implemented this engineered solution using NSX to help with again with the microsegmentation. They also provided automatic provisioning and bring up capabilities. They had a standardized software-defined data center network set up so that they could replicate it. And there are future acquisition in the works. They expect to expand. So what was this engineered system? So Dell and EMC put together this solution as well as VMware. And the idea was it's an engineered system, so it's not just a bunch of computers racked up. It's actually engineered as one. And this is what you get to provide the speed. And how do we do that? Well, VMware and Dell and Dell EMC engineered first looking at the individual VMware components that we know about. You know, vSphere, vSAN, NSX, vRealize. And then what VMware did is they pulled this all together into an interoperable solution called VMware Cloud Foundation. And with VMware Cloud Foundation, they were able to get all these components easily managed and in compliance with each other. Then what Dell EMC did is we took this and we looked at our hardware architecture, and we worked with customers, and we worked with folks like yourselves as well as the engineers at VMware, and we decided that if we pull this all together and manage it as one system, along with the software that's configured together, we can actually move forward very, very quickly. So what we did is we did the whole system integration testing of all those components. And we also did a complete lifecycle validation. So what happens is when we change a BIOS out, or when a BIOS of a server needs to be changed, or you have a new Cisco firmware that needs to go out, we'll make sure that the whole system works as one when they just do the update. And that's end up with this turnkey cloud, fast time to market solution that you just saw. So really, the Common Cloud Platform, it's public cloud ready. It's actually here today. You can read about it, learn about it. We have lots of great excuses to have you come in and work with us on basically what is a public versus private cloud. And with VMware talking about the announcements with the public cloud support, this is a great step because you can actually deploy multiple instances of this on-prem and have it connect directly with your public cloud as well, especially if you're using or looking at some of the new cloud solutions from IBM and Amazon. That's all I have right now. Just wanted to let you know that you can transform today. You're not alone, and you can do it very quickly. If you have any questions, come on up, and I'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you.